Hello, my name is Leo Maris, and it's been quite some time since we played Detention. I've actually been rather busy playing a mobile game called Fate Grand Order. If anybody has played that game, they know that ever since November, that game has been quite busy, November of 2018, at least for North America. It's just been event after event after event, so I've been quite busy playing that. Although I'm excited that I finally have some free time to do this game now. And now, a word from our sponsors. Do you wake up in the middle of the night worried that your dick has disappeared? Are you leveling up off-season servants 3,000 years after all of your friends? Do you cry into your bed every night because the best snack mom has been avoiding your precious calls? Then you, my friend, may have an FGO addiction. Thankfully, with only a small payment of $400 a month, you too can stave off the effects of this horrifying addiction. Remember, 10 rainbow apples a day keeps the doctor away. Delightworks, the best friend your wallet ever had. Well, for starters, I guess we should talk about my theories at the moment. Or actually, before that, let's just state that I actually reviewed all of my previous recordings to kind of catch up and know what has been happening in the story. And, well, let's just go into it, right? I've been very confused about which character is who, so for now, let's start with the obvious ones, right? We have Ray, who is our protagonist, our friend Wei, who we assumed we'd met for the first time here, but now I'm thinking that is not the case. We knew each other from before we entered this place, whatever it is, whether it be purgatory or something, I don't know. But I believe we had a relationship with him before. He gave us these illegal books that we aren't supposed to be able to read in the... I don't know if in the school, but maybe it's just like the country itself. We also have Mr. Kao, who I assume is the caretaker. We have our counselor, Chang Minghui, who we seem to be possibly starting an illicit relationship with. I'm not entirely sure on how, but, well, I guess the details aren't important. I just believe that's what Ray wanted to believe. We have our homeroom teacher, Yin, who we haven't seen since the start of the game and that little flashback that we had. The principal, who is her father. And then Instructor Bai, who is the person who we saw at the very beginning and not since. I'm fairly certain I know who's who now. As for, I was saying that Mr. Chang had a sort of odd uniform, kind of made him look like a student. And I now realize that we've seen that uniform before on that doll that we hung up in the little puppet play thing that we did in chapter, I think it was 3 or 2. Let's see. I'm just thinking about how that person got shot by the police officer, so I'm just wondering if that was a result of our actions or not. Which brings me back to the moment where Ray sort of confronts Miss Yin. I was thinking, okay, maybe she killed him, or her. She killed her. Although in the reflection we do see the body of what I assume was a male student, but now that we know that Mr. Chang wears those overalls, I'm now thinking it was him instead of like Wei or something. And at least the Ray in the reflection was the one who actually held a gun. So I'm wondering, okay, did Ray actually physically use a gun to hurt or kill Mr. Chang or Miss Jin? Or is it possibly that, because we were stating that knowledge is power, right? Maybe it wasn't something like a gun. Maybe she just informed certain people about those two, something they didn't want other people to know, and that sort of caused their downfall, and in that way sort of killing them. That's my thoughts in the moment about that. I'm not sure. This also coincides with the blackboard that we had in one of the chapters where it had the word snitch written around the board. So it makes me think that Ray was some sort of informant in one way or another. Although, being that it was in ways like grave, I'm thinking that she told the adults that Wei was giving out these illegal books, and that got him into trouble. I'm not sure if necessarily killed, but definitely into trouble. Just interesting to think about. We now know that Ray is just a lot more involved than we initially thought. So, I'm very curious about what's coming up now. Because this chapter has been all about Ray and just her lifestyle and what's led up to this, I suppose. I've been kind of rambling here now. Maybe we should just get into it. Alright. Make sure everything's fine. Okay. Oh, let's go. Oh, wait. What is this? I'm not sure if I checked this before. It's not working. Gotta prepare my heart for, like, jump scares, right? Even though this chapter has actually been not heavy on the jump scare. It's mostly about exploration and understanding Ray. Oh. That scared me a bit. Can I walk by her? I can't hold my breath, but... Alright, what is this? Looking at herself in the mirror? Kind of a scary situation we're in right now. Okay. This is all. Oh. Wait, what was this? It's over, no matter what's been written on here. There's only a farewell. Maybe I have to do something with the items. Can I try to leave and she'll stop me? Nope, it's definitely something to do with the items. Maybe the message? I'm thinking the necklace, but a glass cup of nauseating color, overflowing with the stench of human corruption. Plates and cups clash against the walls as father's voice roared through the halls. Okay, so alcohol, the stench of alcohol, and he was destroying like plates and cups and just scaring everybody in the house. After a series of curses seething, all that's left is mother's weeping. That's obvious. Our family was once sweet together, healthy and caring we gathered. And now, every night a restless sleep, every morning hard to wake. So it goes on day by day, the anguish digs ever deep. I was shattered into countless pieces. Oh, is this what was on the letter, this poem? Mirroring the crumbling of a familiar world. In a state of ceaseless decay, plunging into a river of despair. Floating in limbo for the rest of our days. So she felt that happy lifestyle crumbling away and just sunk deeper into this depression that filled the house. And I guess Mr. Chang was the only thing that made her happy. Or at peace. That sound effect. Are you just telling me to use whatever items I have left? I don't know. This doesn't do anything, okay. Anticipating when we meet, footsteps ever quick and slight, roaming a neon forest, strolling past the dazzling lights. Okay, so she went in a hurry towards somewhere, that somewhere being the neon forest, so the city at night. I'm not even sure if this is a city or a town, probably a town. But it really doesn't matter. Point is, it's one of those, like, fancy, neon-filled areas. Maybe a red light district, but that doesn't have to be true either. I've become a little lark. I'm not sure what lark means. Brushing past the pretty flowers, chasing all the playful butterflies, I glide merrily by your side. So while she was with him, her world was colorful and light. I've been an actor in our play, long before the curtain's risen. Being held is ever comforting, longing for your love embracing. Listening to your many whispers, feeling each other's tranquil breathing. Sorry if I'm silent, I'm just trying to, look deeper into this poem. Or not look deeper, but actually understand what it means besides just being a poem. These last two are pretty clear on what they mean, although I'm not sure if this escalated to a sexual relationship or not, or if it's just romantic in the sense that they were in each other's embrace, in each other's arms. Which again is not necessarily sexual. I've been an actor in our play long before the curtains risen. That's the line that's kind of getting me. Was she interested in him before all this? Or does she mean that even while she was in bed, she thought about him? The white deer walked into my grasp. What a pleasant surprise, what a turn of fate, I want to keep this moment in my palms for eternity. So the moment that he gave him the deer. And then the goodbye. All of a sudden we stopped meeting. You became distant bitterly, colder than the sun could melt, air around you freezing instantly. And my frozen body's beating heart, with each pulse tearing itself apart. So heartbreak or heart pain. Again, I'm left in abject solitude, in a house that I call home, in a space that I call school, a walking corpse whose mind's without, a sense of loss that's drowned with doubt. So without him, her mind was... without him and without a home, her mind was restless and constantly plagued by doubt. Okay. Oh, don't scare me, game. The teacher, Shang Minghui, we need to talk about this. Oh, also, what was the relationship? I forgot to mention this when I was talking about my thoughts on the characters. What was the relationship between Shang and Jin? Because this is something Ray brought up. Shang Minghui, we need to talk about this. Did you find out? Miss Jin, it's not necessary to raise your voice like that. Why can't I? What were you thinking going after a child like that? Okay, so she did find out. Child? I was already studying abroad at her age. She's old enough to know what she wants. So what now? Will you lead her down this forbidden path? She only needs a push in the right direction, not for you to wrap your arms around her. This is our private matter. It's none of your business. How is it not? You're stuck in your little romance. Did you forget about us? Us. We were already in the same boat, don't you forget? In the same boat. This is where I go back to, okay, maybe these two were doing things that were illegal. And Ray was a sort of informant. That reminds me, Mr. Kao was also doing something illegal, gambling on school grounds. Could it be that all of the adults, and maybe not just the adults, Wei also had those books. Maybe everybody around us was doing illegal things and we just sort of ruined their lives, perhaps? Or maybe she means... This is a huge leap in logic, by the way. But when she says we're in the same boat, maybe her and Wei were having some sort of scandalous relationship. Regardless, the way she's talking right now, it's not... She's not using words as if the two are lovers. Or anything. But we'll see. How does this conversation develop? Or we won't know. Is this the end of the chapter? was that before? It's not him without glasses, I don't think. A pain for a collection. Well, I think this is another chapter. I'm very curious who that person was. I know Miss Yin, obviously. But who was the person that came after her? Because I know that one with the glasses is Mr. Chang. I don't think that was Mr. Chang without glasses. Perhaps Wei, but he looked quite old to be Wei. I'm not sure. A painful recollection. My soul is shattered into pieces. When I cannot put myself back together and forget everything, I open my eyes and welcome a barren world. Is this Mr. Kao, perhaps? He's wearing quite the casual clothes. He's just staring at that chair where we were before. I wish I could read all this graffiti or whatever, but I'm transparent. It's kind of sad that that was the end of chapter, because we could have ended at last episode, but since they gave us a save point, I didn't think the chapter would end right afterwards. I thought it would be a little bit longer, but then again, that was like the first save point since the beginning of the chapter. There was no in between. Maybe there were autosaves and I just didn't notice, but even so, in terms of manual saves, they only gave us one at the start and one at the very end. But we're still gonna go on, obviously. We're not gonna do such a short episode. We've done around 50 minutes of gameplay so far. I can't hold my breath. Is there anything new in my notes? It's just a search warrant and peace. Nothing new. That Doraemon or whatever. I guess that's like a really popular animation even outside of Japan, I guess. At least I assume that's what it is. Actually, is Doraemon a Japanese animation? I'm not. It might not even be that. I'm just making assumptions. I'm fairly certain now that that was Mr. Kao, because we're going into like this storage area. Hello. Okay, let's talk, Miss Doppelganger. Actually, you might be more real than I am right now, because I'm transparent. Our life would vanish, but not our... Okay, our life would vanish, but not our guilt. I am you, yet you are not me. It's the sin that makes you linger in this realm. Memories, like mirrors reflecting the true likeness of your soul. In a world full of pain and suffering, Fang Rei Shin, what do you fear the most? I don't know if I should answer this honestly, or... If I answer this honestly, I would say losing myself. However, would Ray answer like that? I feel like Ray may answer losing my life. Well, let's answer like myself. Or not losing myself. Answer as if I was the person speaking and not necessarily Ray. Believe that we are all born free, eager to walk your own path, and afraid of losing yourself. You are me. Achievement unlocked. I am who I am. I should have saved. Okay, what happens if I talk to you? Oh, cool. Interesting. Am I gonna have to explore a world where all of those three options are... Nope. I'm stuck on losing myself, I guess. I can go back in here and save at any time. The heck was that? Well, this room is very different, right? Or am I crazy? That kind of scared me a little bit, but... all this crying. Yeah, this room was different, but now I can't access the fan anymore, it seems. Now I can. I'm very confused. Is there anything I can inspect when the room is like this? Doesn't look like it, so I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of that is. Maybe I'll know later. Or perhaps this message means something, but I can't read it. Well, if it was important, the game would tell me so. That. Before we go upstairs, let's check the other direction. I can't hold my breath, so it doesn't look like we'll be facing any enemies, at least for right now. I can only go up, it seems. The way forward is the path to your past. However, the road ahead has crumbled. Lead me anywhere, and I will follow you like a shadow. So, I assume this is the present state of this school. Maybe this school has actually shut down because of Ray's actions, which I assume again are snitching on illegal activities. Okay, if I go back to you, can I not progress through here? No, it it seems the path forward is still there. I got an achievement for that, Outstanding Observer. The door is blocked by an unknown force. Strange. Isn't this the boys' bathroom, though? I'm pretty sure this was the boys. So I'm very curious why we can access that one, but not... Oh, we can't access it, but why it's in... It's something we can interact with. You know, I'm very curious about Mr. Cow, so maybe we should leave this for last. Let's do the other option. I just wanted to know where, what I can access on this floor. Okay, let's go into the quote-unquote past, even though I think this is the present. Door handle is broken, I can't get in. Or can't get out, maybe. Open this door. Okay, what's up, man? One of these days, me is gonna give me a scare. The sliding door is wrapped in barbed wire. Okay. I'm very confused on, you know, past, present, and future right now. Just this in combination with all the previous chapters and all that. And all the otherworldly stuff going on. It just seems very hard to follow. Still pretty transparent. A Ray's body is. Oh no, the phone again. We already had enough of that in the first chapter. Who can be calling at a time like this? I can't access this though. So it looks like I have to do the Mr. Cow thing. Is my shadow gonna pop up here? No. Yeah, where's my shadow? Don't go wandering off. Remember when you enrolled so full of passion? Participating in every school activity, showing off your academic abilities, grabbing the attention of your peers and teachers. Then things took a turn for the worse at home. All the attention quickly turned into unwanted scrutiny. So you chose. Well, Again, let's not go with what Ray. If this is like, I don't know what kind of game this is, so if there's like multiple endings depending on your choice, then that'd be a cool thing to go back to. But for now, I'm gonna choose as if I was in this situation. I would have. What would I have done? Grim acceptance. This place is completely lifeless. Even ideas are buried here. Ooh. Yeah, it's one of those things, these bonfires where people burn books that they think others shouldn't read. Remember to thoroughly destroy each book, and add the spirit money to throw them off. There can't be any intact book pages, or else this would be all for naught. Hey, Wei. Okay, so this is Wei, and this is unknown student B. Hey, Wei. You're closer with Miss Yun. I heard that she had to flee the country overnight. Is that true? I'm not sure. She never said anything about leaving. Unlike Miss Yin, we don't have the connections to guide us to safety. Aren't you afraid? Well, actually, what bothers me the most is, do you know how the reading list got leaked out? Stop asking questions. I am as clueless as you. Let's just hurry up and finish this. We don't want to get caught. Alright, so it was less about destroying books that we don't want others to read, and more about destroying evidence in their involvement. And again, it leads me to think that Ray sort of betrayed their trust. A written verdict from court. A torn piece of the verdict. Xiang Minghui, district level educator, is found guilty with students Wei and others of collision with communist forces. Xiang Minghui is to be put to death after the court's ruling. Wei Chungting pleads guilty to affiliation with communist forces, reading of prohibited texts with rebellious and corrupt thoughts. Will be sentenced to 15 years jail time. Shit, man. And I've repeated myself quite a lot now, but this is all a result of Ray's actions, right? I must assume. Now, Mr. Kao. As far as I know, I don't think Mr. Kao had anything to do with a communist alliance, or not an alliance, but affiliation or thought to be scoping out ideas or anything. I think he was just illegally gambling. So I'm curious if there's like something deeper going on with him. The bonfire of hope is almost depleted, diminishing in the wind. Alright, Miss Jin. These are students. Oh, this is this where we all went to read those illegal books? Some of the book contents might conflict with your everyday thoughts, but this material will help you engage in reflective and independent thinking. Well, let's call it a day. I do want to remind you all again, don't leak this, to never mention the book club to anyone else. For that might put yourself and others in great danger. And Wei? Based on physique, I assume this is Wei. And Wei, I'd like to ask you a favor. Yes, Miss Jin? Is it about the new books? I've already given the list to Mr. Chan. He said the shipping company won't help us anymore, but he'll figure something out. The government is enforcing restrictions on all imports. I wonder, did Miss Jin believe in communism, or was this a purely like educational trial or of some sort? Like she wanted to push the bounds of what you could teach here in the school. Alright, the government is enforcing restrictions on all imports. Soon, the book club might come to an end. Miss Jin, why are things like this? I'm sorry, Wei. There's nothing I can do either. Oh, just one more thing before you go. Mr. Chang never brought us any of these books in the first place, right? I know I can always count on you. Clipping, blacklisted to return home for burial. Half a century in exile, blacklisted to return home for burial. During the period of martial law, Miss Jin Sui-han was a wanted political fugitive. She was lucky to evade arrest and left the country only to be blacklisted. She traveled the world fighting for human rights and freedom of expression, but unfortunately died of lung cancer at the age of 50. Her last wish was to be able to return to her hometown. Now this wish can be achieved with the lifting of martial law. So, her ashes, I assume, were returned like half a century or less than that, maybe, depending on if they're counting when she was alive. And they spread the ashes in her homeland. Oh, I just noticed there's like these books floating around. Well, not floating, but still in place. Okay, I guess I have to return. I'm hoping something new happens because I don't have any way to progress. Right? Gotta follow... oh, the bathroom. commit suicide in the bathroom? Or how would he have placed this broom actually? Well, I guess you could have done it outside and gone to one of the side stalls and then climbed over or slid it under and then... But that seems like a lot of work just to put a broom there. The door is barred by a broom. There's a note on top of it. Snitcher. Oh. So wasn't Mr. Cow then? I still believe that Ray must have been the one, right? So I'm very intrigued that they're calling Mr. Cow a snitcher. So I guess he went to the bathroom and then they locked him in there with a broom. Remove the broom? Yep. I don't think this was the same piano tune I was playing, or was it? I'm not entirely sure. It may be hitting there within other notes. But it's a very pretty tune. I'm not transparent. Oh. I wonder if I could have interacted with him. Probably not. Note entry. Excerpt. That time, in fear, forcing herself to breed hatred, who knew that she would take that leap and leave this world behind? Right, we did see Ray or somebody with a figure of Ray jump from the roof in that one chapter, so I was also considering that after her action she committed suicide. But that may not necessarily be what this note is talking about. I'm just skipping ahead way too far, probably. Or it may not even be related, maybe it was just for shock factor, but I really don't think so, because this game seems to want to connect everything in a sort of... I wouldn't say mystery, but, you know, it's putting the pieces together. Nary a last word because of fear, remorse. The reason remains undecided. I was left with a blur of confused thoughts spiraling through my mind. When I saw the sunlight again, things had changed drastically. My loved ones and teacher went to a higher place. She was buried in an unmarked grave, leaving me a decrepit man. Alright, so this was definitely written by a man. That time in fear, forcing herself to breed hatred, who knew that she would take that leave and leave this world behind. So again, this makes me think suicide. Nary a last word. It was very quick and sudden. My loved ones and teacher. went to a higher place. She. The only she we know about is Miss Jin, but again, she died in some faraway place from lung cancer, right? So it wasn't suicide. Fang, or Ray, sorry. Ray could have, again, committed suicide, but he says, my loved ones and teacher went to a higher place. This could have been Wei, I guess. I'm thinking Mr. Kao because they describe themselves as a man, not a boy. But I guess in Wei's head, maybe he considered himself a man. Especially if my theory that he had something going on with Miss Jin is true. So, my teacher would be Miss Jin, and my loved ones, I wouldn't know. Not entirely sure. Very interesting. I said this at the beginning of the series, but this is supposed to be a short series, I believe, or a short game. So I imagine that I must be at least relatively close to finishing this game. I don't know if there are multiple endings or something. It seems pretty linear. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, maybe. Maybe there's still a lot of gameplay left. Let's see. We've been going on for 45 minutes, we've reached a save point. I kind of feel bad that it's been such a long time since I uploaded a video, so... and I still feel up to it. Let's continue. Let's see if we can finish this chapter. Alright, there's still that phone we have to pick up. There's a note on the cart. Oh, it's the red building. Oof. Is it turning off the lights does something? Or maybe she'll get stuck there. Yep. Now we can talk to her. Will I can leave or forward? Turn this light on. Alright, so maybe this time turn this off. watch you walk into the other light. Acting immediately on one's determination. This is the philosophy he believed in. That someone should take fate into their own hands. With you following him, what ideas do you hold? This seems kind of weird to say after all this. Again, I'm answering in a way that I would, but it seems really strange as a decision Ray would make. I think. Anyways. I'll be very curious if these answers actually matter. And perhaps not just curious, but perhaps impressed. I really don't think they're going to matter. Alright, I can go to the roof, or I can go outside. Let's go upstairs first. Or not. So we're going outside then. No matter how many times this replays, nothing can be unwound. You can never redeem yourself. What was this called? Banyan tree. Instructor Bai. This is the book list I mentioned before. I found it on our teacher's desk. So we did snitch, so... Did somebody lie and say it was Mr. Kao? I found it on our teacher's desk. Miss Fang, the country appreciates your assistance. Did you think something to rely on would stave off your fear? Or stave off your fear? One day, however, he was gone just like that. You've lost everything you can depend on. What choice will you make now? I would probably get angry, so... This is very contradictory to how I've been answering the questions before. But it's humankind that makes all these contradictory actions, right? The instructor's sharp gaze was stifling. You steeled yourself and performed without hesitation. In that one moment, transforming into a pitiless patriot. Easier than you think, right? You are me. he's gonna go to the roof, perhaps? I can very much enjoy this game when I'm not getting scared so easily. I may not be able to make much sense of the story because I'm just ignorant and dumb or something, but yeah, I'm enjoying the ride. And I'll try to appreciate whatever it is that I can understand. I said it at the very first episode, but I really like this art style. I can't say I'm in love with it per se, but it's the kind of thing that since other games aren't like this, you can appreciate it more. And you know what? No, for a 2D game, this is actually really good. It's very good art style. I don't know what I'm talking about. What was that strange reaction he had? I don't know. I guess, did you finish your cigarette? I don't know. It was a very odd movement. Memories are like a mirror, reflecting the true likeness of your soul. Maybe you still want to forget. Maybe you're still afraid. This just came to mind, but at some point we have to confront like that big monster that was chasing us around. Maybe that was their guilt. But this game can't end until we see that thing again, right? Because I don't think that was just some cheap scare. Facing your own aspirations, but not confessing to the truth. I am you. Yet you are not me. I do wonder why she keeps saying that you are not me. Also, yeah, obvious, creepy atmosphere is creepy. I was just saying that, I was enjoying the ride when it's not scary, but now here we are. Constantly cycling over and over, with only the river Sansu at the end of your journey. So, like, constantly repeating these guilt-ridden thoughts, perhaps? But there's only one end at the end of this. This is not Wei, is it? It doesn't look like Wei. But if nobody else appears, then I guess it must be Wei. Yet the knot of sin still lies unsolved. The bridge leading to Paramita lies in collapse. But you haven't taken responsibility for it, I guess? I guess this must be Wei. I think he looks a little bit different, but... we haven't really had to look at him from the front, so the earlier segment where they were showing Miss Jin, then some unknown student, and Mr. Chang, I guess that must have been way earlier. So the Requiem, with a warm crescendo, welcomes you once again. So welcome to this grotesque world once again, because, you know, the consequences of your actions are still out there and nobody, or you, have not taken responsibility. I hope I'm not yelling in this recording, because constantly throughout this episode I cannot hear what I am saying, so I'm just hoping that I'm not being really loud, because that's gonna be a pain to edit in terms of volume. All the dead boys and girls of the school. Not sure if it's because they're actually dead or because you destroyed the school, its credibility, its everything. And in the end, you're responsible for it. The state it's in right now. That kind of looks like Miss Jin. I can't tell if it's me or Miss Jin. Well, up to now it's mostly been me, right? So I should just assume it's me again. And I'm not sure what the name of that is, but it's those knots that I use for suicide a lot, so here we go again with this. There's a new track. And I think it's just gonna repeat those notes. Sin. Life ends, but sin is permanent. In silence, I await my curtain call. Well, before I do the obvious, nope, I cannot escape this, I have to do it. This was where Mr. Kao was. Oh, there we go. I didn't realize I was that close to the end. Again, I wish I could read this, but right. I can't read the Taiwanese language, so... How do I feel about this ending? Before I get to that, I thought the game itself was quite enjoyable in terms of the story and kind of trying to unravel what role each character played. It's I expected it to be more horror, although that's neither here or there, right? It's not good or bad that it's not as scary as I assumed. But the atmosphere for it was very good, I'd say even incredible. Oh right, I meant to say this at the start, but here we go. Red Candle Games. Again, if you want to support them, I believe at the moment of recording this, they're making some new games, so hey, if you want to support this company and you really like this, please buy the game from them. You can get it on Steam or I think some other retailers, but you can look it up on their page. I'll have the Steam link in the description. As for that ending, I don't know. It's not open-ended, but it leaves it to the player to kind of piece it all together, right? To take everything from when you start the game and see how it all comes together and makes this larger story, which is not bad. But then it leaves me kind of, like I mentioned earlier, that big monster thing, was that just guilt, or was there some other deeper, or not deeper, but other grander purpose to it? For other things, I can see it all connecting, like the phone call, thanking me for my contribution that was obviously, instructed by and all that. I guess I'll go with my honest feelings to say that the ending, I would have liked a little bit more from it. It just started out as a very quiet adventure, I suppose, and it ended that way as well. I'm sure there's probably some minor theories some people wrote about this, probably some conflicting ones, although I don't think anybody... There's probably not some really grand theory about this, because all the facts are there, you just need to put them together. So I was kind of correct in what I said earlier in this episode, where we see Fang pointing a gun at Miss Jin and then Mr. Chang in the reflection. In that it's because of her words, her knowledge, that they ended up quote-unquote dying. Even though Miss Jin wasn't exactly that, but, I would have liked a little bit more from this ending. I'm not sure if there's multiple endings to this or not. I'll look it up. But for now, I'll assume that this is the end. Again, I enjoyed myself with this game. It was very short, and it allowed me to get a little bit more practice with video editing. I hope that the episodes up to now have only gotten better from the first one. And I really hope that, presumably, this last episode is the standard quality that it should be. I don't want the last episode in this series to be, below average in terms of audio quality and such. Although, again, I've been yelling throughout this entire episode because the sound was really loud, so I wasn't exactly sure what my volume was. I'm probably gonna have to lower that a little bit. But I'm just kind of rambling here at the end. It was enjoyable. Again, please support Red Candle Games or buy it on Steam, whatever you can. if you were interested in the story, they're making a new game, so look forward to that. I'm not sure if I'd play it, but if you want to buy that game that's coming out, keep an eye out for it. And I guess I'll stop rambling here. Thank you to anybody who watched this series, and I'm hoping I'll do a new series soon. I'll see you guys in the next playthrough. Thank you.